So glad to have everyone back on Mastering Counseling. Today, we are super excited to talk to Carla Titus. Welcome to the show today, Carla.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited for our conversation today.
We are very excited to hear from you as you have so much savvy and financial expertise, especially in the business side of helping counselors. And you are, the CEO of Wealth and Worth Within. Love the W alliteration.
Thanks.
And you have over 15 years experience in financial planning and online business. So I can't wait to hear all about that. But why don't you tell us what took you down this path into becoming a finance expert and what channeled you into developing this LLC?
Yeah. So my career started in finance. I have a mom who's an accountant, but I knew I didn't want to be one. And I really don't love the whole tax side of things. So I figure, something in business, but just not accounting.
Yeah.
But I was good with numbers and money. So I figured, hey, finance sounds great. Let's do that, forward-looking projection type of work, planning, uncertainty. Yes, bring it on. And I know most people probably shy away from that. They're really scared to deal with uncertainty. But to us, it's just like, what are the possibilities? Let's do this. And kind of thinking strategically through, what's to come. And then I went into corporate finance for 11 years to build my career. And I saw this need in small businesses. I figure I was in corporate, so everybody knew what a CFO does and everybody had one. And then when I realized that most businesses had no idea, first of all, what it is or what we do. And then second, that they did not have access to this expertise, I was like, this is it. I have to go help small businesses make a better living and have profits and have cash in the bank and also compensate the owner for all the hard work you put into your business to grow it, to make it viable long term, and really had a passion for helping close that gap on the lack of knowledge. You didn't go to school for finance, and I don't want you to anyway. It's like, I want to make sure that you do what you enjoy, what you're good at, but we can't do that if we don't have money. Businesses go out of business because they run out of money, and ensuring that that doesn't happen to you so you can have more of the impact, take care of your patients, and make sure that you're here for the long term and continue to grow at whatever desired rate you have. It was just so important to me to make sure that more businesses succeeded long term, financially speaking.
Well, thanks for getting all that knowledge in the corporate world and then wanting to bring it to, the smaller businesses and individual business owners. That is very nice that you did that. And we know that you help counselors and therapists, but when you look at, let's kind of go big and then we'll hone in on that. When you look at your whole business, do you help multi-career? It looks like you do. What are all the different groups of businesses that you help?
Yeah, so we have a few different niches that we specialize in because, as you know, with finance, you can help everyone, but you're not always for everyone either. So I find that when we niche down and really speak to specific audience needs, then all of a sudden this, conversation opens up to better strategic decision making, financially speaking, because you have so much more knowledge of how the business actually functions. And this is a key aspect of what we do as a fractional CFO in the businesses. We partner with the owner, but we also bring our industry experience from a financial perspective where we know how practices run, how do they make money, how do they, see and treat patients, how long that takes, and understanding that there might be some billing intricacies in some, insurance-based practices. If you're private pay, that behaves very differently. And just being able to even speak the same language with the CEO to have the right conversations is such a key aspect of the advisory work that we do for our practices. And it doesn't happen by accident because we have to be very knowledgeable in the industry in order for us to be able to advise in a better way. But outside of our counseling or mental group health group practices that we support, we also work with other types of businesses, like in the law firm side, as well as some e-commerce retail CPG brands, and also work with some interior design firms. And some of that work that helps us be a better CFO to bring this back to our practices because they might be doing other things that are working really well that we could try in this industry that could work well for them, or tell them, hey, don't do that. This hasn't gone very well.
Right. Right. Oh, sorry.
So as we're able to work with other industries, we're able to also bring in some insights into what's working well for other type of business models that you can apply to your practice and what you're doing in your business. And also deter from all the risks and things we're seeing that are not going well, or maybe adopt them in a different way to make sure that you get the good results and the ROI or return on investment that you're looking for from that activity. And it makes us a better CFO because we can look at different business models, we can look at other industries, and we can bring all that knowledge to your company to help you, achieve your financial goals faster with less risk, and ideally, have other ways to bring opportunities to the table for you to take advantage of as well. And that is really the job of a CFO, is to help grow a company and make it more profitable and continue to help it stay here for the long term.
I love that, taking what is working even in a whole other industry and then applying it to the mental health practices is very cool. Let's talk about, because a lot of the people who listen on here are new counselors and they feel very entrepreneurial. If they were to start off their practice working with you, how would that look? Like really specific, the sessions, how often? I think later we'll talk about software and things, but just if they reached out for a consult, what would happen right away?
Yeah, so when we work with new practices, the first thing we have to do is build the foundation if it's not already there. So if you don't already have a strong bookkeeping or accounting team supporting you, we want to make sure that the books are in order before we are able to do the CFO work that you're bringing us in to do for your practice. And as your practice starts to grow, you're going to find that there's a lot of questions that go unanswered. And you look at your financials and maybe you feel a little confused or you really don't understand what's going on there. And you need someone to come explain that to you. And that's, not a skill set that a lot of people have. So there's nothing to feel bad about not knowing how to read a P&L. You don't do this, all the time. And maybe you're new to business. How should you know how to do this? So we love educating our clients and helping them see visually what's happening in the profit and loss statement and helping them understand what trends we're seeing, what maybe is not working so well, and pointing out to some of the risk areas or opportunities that they might not have noticed in their numbers, because the numbers are telling you a story, but you just need to know how to read it. And part of the work we do is helping clients understand, okay, what's happening first, making sure your books are in great shape to start, because at times we see when we're reviewing the chart of accounts on the accounting side for bookkeeping purposes, it's not being tracked the right way. And there's a lot of opportunity for us to make an impact in just how we change and do a financial health assessment of where things should be, how things should be categorized. And that starts to give you some more insights that you might want to have in your business as you're getting started. And then from there, we want to develop a plan on what are you trying to achieve this year? And maybe you're not clear yet and you want to have some help developing some clear goals with some financial metrics and key performance indicators. Those are just metrics we're going to be measuring along the way to know if we are on track or off track, if we're making progress in the right direction or not. But even just setting those up could be challenging at times, especially if you're a new practice. You don't know what you should be thinking about. And so we come in to develop that plan alongside you financially, where we look at all the variables. We look at costs, we look at how are you generating revenue, what are the services you want to, go out there, what is the price point, what is the strategy around all of this, and what are some investments in marketing you might want to make in order to make this goals a reality. So then it becomes really clear the 10 things you need to go do so you can, have a better opportunity of achieving your goals in the year. And now you're clear on what are the action steps versus before you were just kind of winging it and not sure where to start or what to do. And now you have a clear plan in front of you that also tells you, are you on track or off track? So it's easy to know and pivot from there.
I feel like you kind of gather what limited data there might be and then present future data, projected data, if you will, to help people and really reach their goals. And I wondered about marketing as well, which you mentioned. Do you guys bring other companies on board to help with the marketing side of things, or do you also provide that?
We do not provide marketing. Our lane is absolutely financials only.
Yeah.
And we don't even do tax or payroll. So we partner with accountants and payroll providers to make sure that that work is being done. by an expert and that we can have checks and balances in place and to ensure that viability of the business. Again, we don't want to have any risk there. And we do provide bookkeeping services. But to answer your question, marketing, we don't bring in a marketing provider per se, but we are able to refer you to a few that you can work with on the right strategy. But now you know what your budget is, so you can shop more proactively with that number in mind to know what you will be able to afford. So that question of how much can I afford for my marketing team will be answered on that financial plan we create together.
Okay, cool. Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
I know that we even talked before, many counselors and therapists, they don't want to think about the money and the financial end. And I think it's often a trend that we don't want to charge too much because we're helping people with serious trauma or horrible things that they've gone through. And then the money side feels like that kind of ick factor, all of it. So can you speak to us about how you encourage the people to pay what they are worth and maybe see things in a new light?
Yeah. We use benchmarking for this purpose because I think it's really hard for people to come in here and say, I need to get paid this much. That's what I'm worth it. Like, how is to define what worth it is? And instead, we just look at what the market allows you to charge and what the rates are commanding in that specific state or location that you're operating in. And we want to make sure we're competitive. We also want to make sure that we are pricing according to the quality of service you're providing. So this is not about you as a counselor, but your expertise and your knowledge and what you're going to help people with the challenges they're having around trauma or any of the situations that they've been through. You need to be able to price for that experience. And then it takes the whole you out of the equation. It's about the service and the quality and the transformation you're providing in exchange for that monetary compensation you will get for your rates. And again, we don't really determine that. The market does. People who are willing to pay for it see the value in the service you provide, and they will, in exchange, give you money for that whatever rate that you set is. And you'll get feedback really quickly if you're out of price range or priced out of the market or below market, because you might get inundated with requests right away, and then you might not be able to handle it because you're priced too low. And these are unintended consequences of pricing incorrectly. And so we do go through pricing strategy with clients to understand what is the market bear for this type of service in this location. And what is also your target patient that you will be treating? Are they, in the luxury space, like are able to afford more expensive services, or are they on the low income side and we need to, be able to cater to that population? So pricing strategy goes beyond just whatever it is you think you should charge, but really what the market and the client base that you will be serving can afford to do, but also dictate by the market. And then we always tell our clients, like, it's not your job to solve for their budget issues or problems or concerns. It's your job to help them make improvement with their treatment plan and the work that you're doing for them. And they will find a way to pay for that if they value that and they think that this is a priority. How that is up to them to figure out. People get in debt for all kinds of things, houses, cars, if their mental health is that important to them and they want to finance it, that's like their choice. You don't get to decide that for them. You get to provide the highest quality service in exchange for the fee that you're getting. And as long as you're doing that, you should feel fully in alignment with your values of being able to help people and also continue to be in business long term so you can help even more people, because without money, there is no impact.
I really like that approach, and going back to a lot of data, and it's not about, it keeps it from being personal, right? Even though the client therapist relationship is very personal, but not in that realm. So thank you for that explanation. I'm thinking that a lot of practice owners, especially if they're new, this is one of the pitfalls that they have. Are there other things that you find yourself having to fix a lot if you come in a little later in helping a practice?
Yeah, for sure. A big one is around clinical capacity as you start to expand beyond yourself, holding others accountable to what you're compensating them for and how much workload they are carrying, and being realistic about it. Because I think we all have the best intentions, but if we can't get the right amount of leads for that next therapist to get full, and it takes a little longer than you expected, but you're still paying them a full salary, that's going to get in trouble pretty quickly. So just kind of mapping that out and getting ahead of it, knowing, oh, it takes me like 2-3 months to get another clinician full, or like if I'm just trying to keep my load, at that 100% or maybe 80%, what does it take? How many clients do I need to see per week? And then start to make those calculations very clear so that are you below? Are you ahead? Especially around the summertime when we see maybe slowdown in some practices, or maybe around the winter time, either it's a spike or a drop, depending on the type of, therapy work you do. You kind of plan for this ahead of time, so you're not surprised. And this all goes back to the numbers, right? So it's tracking key performance indicators, average clinical sessions per week. If you're depending on insurance, that's a whole nother, cash cycle that you have to take into account. If you're private pay, that would be more immediate, so you'll be able to manage that ups and downs on the business. But nothing happens by accident. And I think a lot of what we go back to is this proactive planning approach to managing your business that will let you sleep at night and put you at ease, because okay, summers are not a big deal. We plan for this. We know we're going to slow down. And maybe we'll do more marketing. We'll work on our systems or something else in the meantime while you're waiting to ramp up again. But also knowing that investing in the right areas of business is going to be critical to your success. It's another piece of information. And all of this will come in your monthly profit and loss statement. So if you're at least reviewing that, which I know it's a big step for a lot of people to go look at their numbers. And I'll offer like a piece of advice that I always share with clients, and that is that doesn't matter what the numbers look like right now. What matters is, are we making progress towards the numbers we want to see going forward? And sometimes it gives that reframe needed for people to be more open to reviewing and looking at their numbers, which is step one, just to get you started. Where are you at, and then where are you going?
You mentioned a monthly statement on your gains and losses. So very much like we get our bank statements, they would be receiving this from Wealth and Worth within kind of a breakdown of the month. Okay,
Yes, if
very
they're
well.
working with us on bookkeeping, we would get them a monthly statement, and then they're able to review that with their CFO that's on retainer, supporting them to, answer the questions and do the forward planning necessary as well.
Okay. So I'm thinking, tell me if I'm wrong, that occasionally, sometimes you maybe just restructure and help a practice fix what's needed or get them off the ground and then step away. But then other groups, you're even providing a CFO who stays with them, holding their hand. That might be a bad metaphor, but stays with them long-term, month to month.
It does feel like we're holding their hands at times, because we go through everything with them.
Yeah.
Going through the ups and the downs, and trying to overcome obstacles together as a partner in their business from a financial perspective. So yeah, that's correct. Sometimes we provide a one-time service. It's just what's needed. And we understand that not everyone's budget allows them to hire a fractional CFO retainer yet, but we still want them to access the expertise and support they need when they need it. So we do have those type of services, and also ongoing. If you are a practice that's scaling and growing and you just need additional support and want to hire us on, then we're able to stay on retainer month over month to really help prioritize the financial side of the business, manage the team, understand what are the questions that you need the answers to, and start doing the financial analysis needed in order to support the decision making.
I love the flexibility. Very cool. Ready to go when they need the CFO. So let's talk about Wealth and Worth itself, and how many people you have partnering with you. How big is this organization? And I know you do some podcasting and definitely blogs as well. So let's talk about all of the things you're doing within.
Yeah, so within the company, we've been in business for about 6 years, and we have a few CFOs on staff helping support clients, and planning to bring on some more as we continue to grow as well. And we have a core team of about 5 people and an extended team of 5 additional staff that helps us stay on track and do all the things, from marketing to putting out educational content and workshops for all of the business owners out there that need some support, as well as reaching out to, get on podcast interviews and do some of the visibility work needed for us to continue to grow and bring in new clients. So we're pretty good at about having systems in place and creating standard operating procedures for everything, which is at times they feel very painful for growing businesses to do, but we try to prioritize that because we find that in having documented processes and systems in place allows us to point to that when needed as a resource for the team to continue to perform, the quality work that we want to deliver to clients. We do partner with clients very closely in fixing their, financial situation. And in that, we have CFOs that only have between 7 and 10 clients at a time. And that's on purpose so that we can deliver high quality support and be available to our clients as they need us, because we understand that there's times when businesses are going to need more CFO and times where maybe they won't need us as much, but we want to make sure that we're always available to answer their call. And then we want to make sure that part of our work is also giving back to the community, and we partner with nonprofit organizations to provide a sliding scale services for businesses out there who maybe can't afford to bring us on yet and are able to access our services at a discounted rate so that we can help more women and minority-owned businesses grow and succeed long-term and see more of those businesses that are generating not only profits, but they're also paying the owner a livable wage, and they're able to build their own personal wealth because of their business.
Okay, that's awesome. You guys are doing a lot for sure. So it started with you and then kind of just kept adding more people up to 5. And then you said 5 other, I assume like admin and that type of job to the organization.
Yes, so we're also on our own growth journey, and there's a lot of financial planning happening around here, as you can tell from
Yeah.
the growth of the team and mapping out what are some of the needs, and also working through improving, what support we provide clients. We want to be up to date with technology and things we can do to help enhance our ability to support clients as CFOs. We also invest a lot of time in educating ourselves in additional ways we can support clients and become better CFOs for them as well, doing industry research as well as understanding the trends that are happening with the current situations. Right now, a lot of what we had been working through has been the cyber attack on Change Healthcare and, helping clients navigate that and being there along their side, looking at cash flow every week, budgeting accordingly, prioritizing the right things while we find a more permanent solution long-term with this whole situation. So we're in the front lines of what's happening, and we do all that research and industry knowledge and expertise that we bring to the table in order to help clients navigate through challenging situations such as the cyber attack.
Yeah, that has to be so frustrating. There's so much good happening on the internet, and then of course there's the criminals coming along. So, wow. Now you guys are on the West Coast. Do you do any work in person? Is it all across the nation online? Who's meeting where and when?
Yeah, so before it was popular or like the norm, we were 100% remote from the beginning. And
Oh,
we're
okay.
our companies. So our team spread across the US and
Wow.
we serve clients across the US. And funny enough, actually more than 50% of my clients are East Coast based. So
Wow.
even though we're in the West Coast, we're able to serve across the US. And again, before it was popular and everybody was doing it, we were already doing remote first. So that
Okay.
didn't really become a change for us because we didn't have to worry about that changing.
Yeah. And so you guys like the early hours, and then you can work with people who want the later hours. But that's very cool that you were doing this before it was cool. And I'm sure some people, maybe just personally, but probably came running to you when this became the new wave of doing things. Um, what are some of the softwares and um, the role of technology? I mean, as you mentioned, you've been using online to connect. But what are some of the systems that help you to be the most efficient and meet your clients' needs?
Yeah, so we always been a QuickBooks first company as far as accounting software. Is just the industry standard. Is our preference for mature businesses to use that. We do work with clients on Zero as well. It's not the best tool, but we will be able to support someone on that. And then decide if, staying there is the best decision or not to make. But all of our systems are pretty automated and integrated, and we're able to support those two pieces of software as far as accounting goes. And then beyond that, we work with the EHR that you currently have. So if it's Simple Plastics, Therapy Notes, IntaQ, whichever one that you're on, we're able to gather insights and data needed to analyze decision-making based on what that EHR is collecting. And then we have built processes and systems to support those systems as well for our clients. And then in addition to that, we use a lot of forecasting software and other software that we try not to mention too many of them, because I know people think they can do this themselves. But here's the real thing that happens is those softwares are just the starting point for us. When we use that software, we're only pulling what we call a baseline to start off, a starting point, and then we use our knowledge of the business and expertise to make adjustments to some of those projections that the software is making. Because when we look at those projections, we're like, oh, they just took a straight line and then forecasted based on that. But we know business is not a straight line. We know that you're going to hire more people. Therefore, your payroll is going to go out. So if that software doesn't know that, it will not project for that. And so we're cautious to tell people like what tools to go use, because yes, you can do it, but just know you can't 100% take that data and run with it, because it's not accurate. And that's why we're here to do the work that we do, because we know that those softwares are just saving us time to get started, but they're not going to be the ultimate tool that helps you make financial decisions, because it doesn't know what's happening in a day-to-day of your business. And so I'm happy to throw out some names out there, but I just wanted to caveat with that, because I think a lot of people think this is a job that they can just do themselves and figure out. And we always welcome that as a starting point, but just be mindful of the limitations that some of those softwares might have, and how we use them is very different than probably a DIY will use that in their day-to-day, out the knowledge and expertise we bring. So just know that when you're pulling that information, it's not going to be 100% accurate, and that you need to modify it in order to make it more useful for your business.
Yeah, when we've talked to other people that kind of more support on the business end, they will mention how the therapists or counselors get so caught up in using like QuickBooks or whatever, and then they're not even seeing all the clients because they're using so much time for that. And it's like sometimes you need to farm that out to their new CFO or whoever it is that is helping you from your company. So
yeah, our job is to keep counselors and owners out of QuickBooks and deliver them they need to know as the key insights and information in order to make decisions in their business.
Yeah, very exciting. Is there anything else that you want us to know about today? Maybe if counselors are thinking long-term and investing and things like that, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, if you're thinking about a CFO for your business, we mentioned that there's ways that you can engage a CFO on a project basis. And I think that's a really great start point on understanding how we might be able to work to support your needs as your company grows. And then over time, when you start to feel like you're challenged by too much complexity in the financial side of your business, and that you feel like you have too many questions that are going unanswered, really reaching out to see if a fractional CFO, even if for a short term, can make an impact into your business. And I always say that don't call us when like things are bad, terrible, and you're about to go out of business. That's not the time to call. Like we absolutely want you to engage us when you start to feel like things are not quite the way that they should supposed to be, but before you get in trouble, because those are much harder situation to come out of. Not impossible. We help clients with that too, but it just makes it more stressful, right? To have to come up with a budget to work with a CFO when you don't have enough going on for
payroll budget.
Exactly. Wait till then. Like, let's make sure that, when things are starting to feel like, man, this is getting really hard and like it's beyond my level of knowledge, or maybe I just don't have time to handle it. That's a big one for us is clients don't necessarily lack the expertise. Sometimes they're really knowledgeable on the financial side, but they just don't have the time anymore to be in charge of it or lead that function. And what happens is they try to hire someone or promote within internally, and maybe that person doesn't have the right skill set. Have you ever managed a finance function before? Most likely not. And you will
Mhm.
find yourself just struggling because you don't know, what should I tell them to do? What should they be working on? How they can help me? We do that for our clients. We come prepare with work that we do. We lead the agenda, we lead the conversation and help you take this off your plate. So it's not up to you to lead anymore, and we can take charge of it and then obviously help you and bring more priorities to the table that need to be addressed from a financial perspective. And as you all know, money touches everything. So we do not run out of things to talk about for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear a lot of talking and asking about things that you don't even know that you don't know. Like, there are plenty of words today that you said that you probably talk about all the time, and I probably use them twice a year because it's just not, our realm. So, yeah, I love this conversation and the way that you've helped so many business people all across the country. Are you guys international at all or sticking in the US?
We were able to support an international client in the past, so that's not off the table. What I say our limitations in that is just the tax side of it. If, we would very heavily rely on the a specific country's tax accountant advice for anything tax related. So we wouldn't be able to go as far as that. We're in the US, we do know a lot of the US accounting and tax system. So we're able to at least give you the questions to go validate with your accountant or ask your accountant, where internationally that might not be the case. So it's just one aspect, but we do so much more than that for clients that we're able to still support international clients as well.
All right. Yes. Good point on that for sure. Yeah. A tax system. I mean, I don't know that anyone fully understands the US tax system. So adding another country would be tough. So, well, thank you so much for sharing everything that you told us. And I'm sure some people will want to reach out at some point.
Yeah, if you want to find us on our website at wealthworthwithin.com, we have a contact page where you can book a call if you're ready to hire a fractional CFO, either on project or retainer. And if you want to follow along for some of our thought leadership around financial management for your practice as you're getting started or are more established, you can sign up for our newsletter. But if nothing else, we're on social media giving out free educational content. So make sure to follow us at Wealth Worth Within.
Thanks so much, Carla. We appreciate sharing all the things you guys are working on and how you're um, always giving insights into the financial end and investing. So thank you so much.
Thanks for
Uh, to our listeners and those watching, please continue to leave us questions and comments. We will continue to explore the world of counseling and mental health. We hope you have a wonderful day.